and we also sent a message with the direct link, norcalptac.org/webinars, where the presentation will be posted. Next slide, please. My name is Christina Kunkel. I'm the Program Director for the Northern California Procurement Technical Assistance Center. Today, I'm delighted to have some wonderful folks joining us. Jordan Brown, Contracts Coordinator for Great Lakes Environmental and Infrastructure, and Norma Alberts, the Small Business Plan Administrator for Great Lakes Dredge and Dock Company. I'm just going to briefly speak about the services of the PTAC program before our hosts take the floor. Next slide, please. The Norcal PTAC is a nonprofit program of the Norcal SEC, and the PTAC is funded primarily by the federal government with supplemental state and local funds, and hosted by Humboldt State University Sponsored Program Foundation up in Arcata, California. Next slide, please. So the Norcal PTAC is funded to provide one-on-one counseling services on procurement topics to businesses listed here and displayed in green on the map. My office is located at the Blue Star, and these county restrictions are determined by federal definition of economically distressed counties. We recently applied for additional funding and are hoping to be able to add San Francisco County to our service area in the next 6 months or so. And our procurement specialists work remotely, so you can connect with us over the phone or via secure video conference. And I noticed when reviewing the registration that some of you attending today are out of state or otherwise located out of the Northern California region. If you're outside the green area here, there are about 100 other PTACs across the U.S., and there are other nonprofit organizations too that we partner with who can help you achieve your government contracting goals. So if you're unsure where to go, which service center is appropriate for your needs and locations, just don't hesitate to contact me. I'll direct you to the right resource. You can give me a call. My phone number is on the slide here at the bottom. That's my direct phone number. Also, everyone attending live today will receive an email with a request to submit a brief evaluation after this webinar, and you can simply reply to that email too with any questions about your eligibility or questions about the presentation. Next slide, please. So we provide 3 core services, all of which are free to clients within our service area. The first is one-on-one counseling. So our experienced procurement specialists can help you sell your product or service to federal, state, local, or tribal governments. And specifically, we can help with federal contracting requirements like SAM registration, getting a DUNS number. We can also help you with minority and veteran and other certifications, crafting capability statements, GSA schedules, connecting with prime contractors like we are today, and teaming partners, and any other government contracting topics to help you succeed. We can also help you understand where your business fits in the government marketplace and how to market yourself. Second, of course, we provide free webinars like this one and in-person workshops on government contracting topics. And these webinars and workshops are always free and open to anyone regardless of location. And then third, we can set up those within our service area with a free bid matching service with daily access to federal, state, and local opportunities based on your specific keywords and preferred service area. And we also post local opportunities on our Facebook page, which is listed at the bottom of these slides here, facebook.com/NorcalPTAC, so make sure you like our page. Next slide, please. And so if you're not a client yet, visit norcalptac.org. You can click on the big green button on the front page. Again, don't hesitate to contact me if you have any questions about your eligibility or where you should go, where you can get help. So that's all I have for you today. I'm now going to open the floor to our featured speakers, Norma Alberts and Jordan Brown.
Hi, I'm Norma Alberts. I'm with Great Lakes Dredge and Dock Company. I'm the Small Business Liaison Officer for Great Lakes Dredge and Dock Company. And I'd like to speak a little bit first about just to be sure, we'll just do an overview. I won't go through every single slide. There's quite a few of them, but this slide, this presentation will be available to you to help you if you need any help in either getting on SAM.gov or bettering your company from what you already have. Okay, so welcome to the webinar. Next slide, please.
Could you please mute your phone? Getting some feedback.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so next slide.
I'm sorry, can you hear, because I can't get access to the slides. Is there, the link is not letting me work. I don't know if anybody else is having this problem. I am as well.
Unable to see the slides this slide.
So who's unable to see the slides? I can send an email.
I guess we'll try to talk you through it the best we can at this point, and then if there's anybody else, if that you haven't muted your phone, there's quite a bit of noise on the line.
How do you mute the phone?
I'm sorry.
My name is Deetria Mixon, and I can't access the slides.
Okay, well, Deetria, what we'll do is we'll have to push on through, and what we'll do is be sending them to you via email after the presentation then.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so SAM.gov, for anybody that doesn't know what SAM is, SAM.gov is System for Award Management, which this is this is an actual website by the federal government. Large and small businesses alike are all on here. This is a search tool that large and small businesses both share. They search for companies with capabilities. So if you're not on SAM, we would strongly encourage you to get on SAM. Next slide. And for those of you that can't see it, I'm sorry, but we will send you the slides. We'll send you the presentation after this. Let's see here. So anyway, there will be some information there for you to help you out. And again, I'm sorry that you can't see the slides. But we do have the website available to you, and it is pretty much self-explanatory, but you can also rely on your friendly PTAC or Small Business Development Center, such as Christina, to help you through this as well. Next slide. And I have information as to if you're not sure you should be on SAM. There's questions and answers as to what SAM's purpose is and who should really worry about getting on SAM, and especially if you're going to be involved with anything to do with federal contracting, you need to have your company registered on SAM. Next slide.
Norma, it looks like we have a question. What is the difference between
what is
SAM?
the difference? Okay, we're getting to that. Okay, so anyway, and I guess you can go to the next slide. So I have information here on SAM as to what you need to do to get on SAM. If you go to the next slide, you will need a DUNS number. You'll need to have your NAICS code, which is North American Industrial Code classification, which is what your company, you identify your company as what you do, such as if your company is a welding supply company, then you would have a specific NAICS code for that, and some people can have more than one. Okay, next slide. And please also note that SAM is free, and you do not have to pay for a DUNS number. We've had several people say that somehow they've gotten involved in something where somebody says they have to pay $500 to get a DUNS number, and that's not true. you can also rely on your local PTAC or SBDC to help you out with that if you haven't gotten registered on that. Next slide. And I have a listing of the steps for registering on SAM. Next slide. And more information on SAM. I'm sorry, next slide. And just there's actual, for those that can't see it, there's an actual picture of the website, and I have an arrow as to where you would begin to start registering on sam.gov. Okay, next slide. And then to get to that person's question that we had about the difference between SAM and DS, Dynamic Small Business Search, which is System for Award Management, and then DSBS is Dynamic Small Business Search. This is set up by the federal government, by the SBA, Small Business Administration, and this is a separate website, but it's like a sidecar. It rides on the side of sam.gov, specific for small business only. This is not for large business. This is only for small government contractors, as well as prime contractors, large businesses, small businesses. They all utilize this to search for small firms that they could possibly potentially use in their, in their projects. Okay, and it's like another website, but it's just on this side. It's actually a little more user-friendly than the sam.gov, but you have to be in sam.gov in order to get into this. Next slide. And then I have specific information as to when this is what you would see if you were searching for a specific business. So you can search by state, you can search by phone number, you can search by district, you can search by zip code. Next slide. And then I have an example of some of the search results. And after you get yourself registered on the sam.gov and you get into this DSBS, which is the Dynamic Small Business Search, you need to make sure that you don't leave any blanks in your information, where I have some examples of people that they omitted putting anything in their capabilities, because then if somebody's searching for you, they have no way of really knowing what your company does unless they click on the site that brings up your profile, but then they'll still not really know too much about your company. So it is a good thing to help you so that who's looking for you knows what you can do. And if that way you won't lose a potential opportunity to connect with a company that could utilize your capabilities. Next slide. More information on the Dynamic Small Business Search, and just going over all the key points of making sure that you have all your company history and your references, and there's keywords, and they will ask you for your NAICS codes, but those are general, so you need to make sure you try to put in what, the extra things of what really defines your company. Next slide. And I have more search examples. There's, for those that can't see the screen, there's pulling up a bunch of firms that are in the Chicago area, and only one of the firms on here actually shows what their capabilities are. So that's just another example of trying to make sure that you're filling out more information so people can find you. Next slide. And I have more examples just of that, where the person has filled out everything. And this is a company that is actually one of Great Lakes Dredge and Docks vendors, actually, and Great Lakes Environmental and Infrastructure. But they have their street, they have their phone number, fax number, they have a current email address. I've gotten permission from her to list this profile. And next slide. And then as you can see, her capabilities, she's listed diesel fuel, biodiesel, gasoline, and she lists special equipment, business type percentages. She shows that she has 33% construction. She does manufacturing, service. Anyway, all these things are important. Next slide. And then references, just so that somebody can see what company you worked for before, and it gives you more of a look with the company that is that you're dealing with. And next slide, please. And there's another website called Subnet. That's in the same. That's the federal government's Small Business Administration has a. It's called the U.S. Small Business Administration Subcontracting Network, and I have the link listed. And again, for those of you that can't see it, you'll be getting the slides, and you're welcome to contact any one of us, Jordan or Norma or Christina, if you have any questions. But this link is for all different types of businesses as well, and this is it's like a free advertising. Great Lakes Dredge and Dock has ads on there for projects that we have ongoing, and you can look on there and you can search many different ways. Next slide. This gives you the idea of what the subnet does. Next slide. This is a sample of subnet where we're searching on a specific NAAQS code, which would be welding, which is 332710, and we didn't search any state, so then you go to next slide. And then you can see what it is brought up. It brings up everything with that keyword or NAAQS code that you've put in. And all these different companies you can go through, and if you see something on there that looks current and that is a match for you, not just Great Lakes Dredge and Dock or Great Lakes Environmental and Infrastructure, then that's another tool for you to use to connect with a contractor to get potential business. Next slide. And this is a sample of one of Great Lakes, one of our projects that we have out there on Subnet. So you can see Great Lakes Dredge and Dock's company name. You can see my name as a contact. You can see down below in the description where it says Marine Dredging Contractor seeks all sizes of small businesses in the area of Delaware River, and then it has all the potential needs, and then it shows, it has the contact information. It shows the solicitation number. Next slide. And then I'm also just want to make you aware that at the SBA.gov, that's the Small Business Administration, they have a website that is very informative, and I would encourage you to get into it and go to it. You can search. You can also, they have different things to help you. If you can see that right here on the screen here where they have contracting support for small businesses, determining small business size, and things to do with service disabled, veteran-owned business, small business, disadvantaged businesses, women-owned. Next, please. And more assistance centers available to you. That's right on the SBA's website. Next. And then too, besides that, your SBA offices, you can go to you can utilize the same website and find different areas to help you where they have them all mapped out. Next. And FedBizOps, that's another site that you can go to see federal opportunities. I know some people say by the time they get to this that those opportunities are gone. You need to also get with, if I'm not sure if Christina's group does this, but I know there's certain other PTACs, they do have lists that they send out. I don't know if that's
We do,
So
and we also have the bid matching service that we can specify.
That's what I was trying to think of, yes.
Yep. Yeah, that's definitely available.
Perfect. Next. And a sample of Fed Biz Ops. Next. And more sample search from Fed Biz Ops. Next. If you could go to the next one, I don't want to bore people to death. And then you also make sure not only your federal, but you can go to your state, your DOT, transportation. I have a website there. You can go to your city and state and make sure you check all your resources to give your company more visibility and more opportunities. Next. And then this is transportation.gov. You can click on whatever state you're looking for to find the DOT sites. And then if you are eligible for, some of them are DBE, Disadvantaged Business Enterprise, some are SBE, Small Business Enterprise. Some of these, it's very helpful to you to check out whether you qualify for some of these state programs, because if you do, that gives you more visibility and more possible opportunity to, get your firm out there and get some business. Next. And then also the DOT, which is Department of Transportation, and just showing more of their information here. Same kind of thing. Next. And I just show another example of the DOT, but this is Florida Department of Transportation. Next. And then I've listed more like WBENC, which is Women's Business Enterprise National Council, Vet Biz Registry, which is for veterans, and the Small Business Administration, which we've already kind of went through, and Minority Development Council. Next. And I list more. Port Authority, Florida Department of Management Services. Next. And also state licenses and permits. There's a site out there for that where it's connected to this SBA. This is all off the SBA's website, where you can click on whatever state you're in or whatever state you plan to work in to get, to obtain a license. Next. And then the one thing I want to push even more so to is the fact of the PTACs and the SBDCs, which are Procurement Technical Assistance Centers and Small Business Development Centers, how important they are. And they provide quite a bit of assistance to the small business owner. And so if you live near Christina, and you haven't gotten a chance to get with her, I would strongly encourage that you get a chance to meet up with her, get a meeting with her, so that if you have needs to get on SAM and you haven't gotten registered, or you need to just maybe tweak your business and do a little thing different to get more business, she's there. And then again, we have a site also that you can locate a PTAC closer to you if she's too far away from you. Next. And then this is what I just said. This is find your local PTAC and SBDC center. It'll give you a website that you click on your state, and it'll help you find somebody close by. Next. And same thing with the map. Next. And just information to help you, basically listed here, is just be prepared, and just remember that you need to ask yourself, okay, what does this contractor do that my company can benefit? How can I fit into their project needs? Do I have what they need? Is there any opportunities that my company can provide for them? Have I researched what that company does and know that my company has something that they need, basically? And then also make sure that you check out what your competitors are, what your competitors are charging and what kind of quality they have, and are your products or services better or just as good as theirs? And does your company have do you have what it takes to finish the job once you tell the contractor that you're going to do it, or you're going to provide something? Are you going to be able to do that within the time they need it? And is it going to be, is it going to be on time? And how is your past performance? Just like we had references on the DSBS, the Dynamic Small Business Search website, where I said make sure you try to put references in there of your past jobs and past companies you work for or provided services for, and just to be prepared and show that you're the one. And next. And I just have also, if your company does 2 or 3 different things, you can always tweak your information to that particular contractor you're going to. So if you provide welding services and you provide welding products, but you see the company only uses tanks of oxygen and acetylene, well then you want to push the product that you're selling more than just telling them that you do services. So always be ready. Next. And I guess we can skip on to the Great Lakes Dredge and Dock Corporation presentation now. So to start with, for Great Lakes Dredge and Dock, our main line of work is dredging, which is removal of sand, soil, silt, and we move it from one place to another, and we deepen the port channels and the waterways, a lot of times so ships can make it through without dragging bottom. This dredging material is used for things like land reclamation, restoring beaches, and also they use it in commercial and industrial projects. One of the main the main important thing for Great Lakes is health and safety and environment. Safety of our workers, employees, and the general public, as well as our general environment, is one of the big factors. We try to make sure that not only our own employees are safe, but the general public on these projects, as well as the environment, which would mean the animal and plant life and whatnot. So also out of that, if we're looking at things that we'd purchase in respect to safety, we do purchase a lot of safety supplies because personal protective equipment, PPE, is very important for all dredging employees, and we have safety gear such as hard hats. We order things like life jackets, safety vests, fall protection equipment, hearing protection, hand and foot protection, eye protection, the list goes on. And anyway, so then to get into it, dredging, we utilize 3 basic different types of dredges, and out of those 3, the first one I'll start to tell you about is the cutter suction dredge or hydraulic dredge. These are used for moving large quantities of material. Usually they will have a main need of wire, rope, and towing and tugboats. So that's some of the common needs that they have. Now the hopper dredge, that's a self-propelled dredge that has different compartments. Dredge material is carried and dumped through these hoppers. You can't see it, but it's a big hopper. This hopper dredge has a almost like a large vacuum cleaner that is like it's called a drag head, and that goes along the bottom of the seabed and it sucks up sand and silt. It's capable of loosening material from the seabed, and then it'll suck it inward into the hopper, and then it'll dump it at whatever a designated area that that we're told to dump it in. A lot of our clients, majority of our clients are the Army Corps of Engineers, as well as we have state and local and port authorities that we do work for. And a lot of times we are directed as to where or how we will dispose of the silt and sand that we take up through this hopper dredge. We have a backhoe. That's what you're seeing right now. That's a mechanical clamshell dredge. It's on a floating platform. Its main needs are like wire and rope and tugboats as well. The next picture is the clamshell. That's a crane with a clam. The same thing. It has needs of wire, rope, tugs, and all these have needs of fuel. And our fuel is diesel, low sulfur, number 2. And back one more time to the hopper dredge, I forgot to mention that a lot of times that has a little bit more with it, where it would utilize dozers and construction equipment, especially if it was doing a project near a beach, where they might also have a need for security, construction equipment rentals, fencing, sand fence, as well as environmental monitoring. We have specialized companies that deal in survey equipment as well as environmental monitoring to help us look out for turtles and such. And this is some of our support equipment that we have that helps out the rest of the fleet and helps with transportation of the sediment and soil and whatnot. And it's not pictured here, but our Rivers and Lakes Division is a smaller group of, they're smaller dredges that can be trucked into different lakes and reservoirs and channels. And this is also, it has similar needs in terms of what a small business could provide for the projects that we have, the needs that we have. And we also have needs of survey and navigation equipment, diving equipment, divers. It depends on the project. And again, environmental monitoring, turbidity monitoring, checking the water quality. And I believe we've covered most everything. So fuel is a big factor. We have needs for marine industrial supply, as well as welding gases. Sometimes they utilize welders as well. Marine and hardware supply, safety supply, we already went over that, survey and navigational equipment, and environmental services and endangered species observers. And I give it over to Jordan.
All right, everyone. My name is Jordan Brown. I'm a contracts coordinator with Great Lakes C&I. Great Lakes C&I is a remediation and geotechnical contractor. We do work for the Army Corps, just like Dredge and Dock does. We also have a wide variety of private clients, state clients as well. So for our infrastructure technologies, a lot of the projects we work on are slurry wall, cutoff wall construction, wetland habitat restoration, we do soil solidification and stabilization, dam and levee rehabilitation. We also do biopolymer collection trenches and permeable reactive barriers. Our environmental remediation consists of utility plant remediation, ACR pond closures, We do contaminated soil remediations, decontamination, decommissioning, and dismantlement. We also do ISS and ESS, hydraulic, mechanical, and sedvac dredging, sediment remediation. We also do a lot of projects at MGP sites. If you don't know what that is, it's a manufacturing gas plant. We do waste repository construction and closure, groundwater recovery and treatment. A lot of our work, especially in the Northern California area, is sediment and wetlands. We design and construct man-made wetlands, contouring and shaping, contaminated sediment excavation, stream channel construction, hazardous waste remediation, water management, and site restoration. And here's a list of some of the things that we purchase. For the almost 2 to 3 years I've been here, I've been working primarily in contracts. So in addition to equipment rentals, aggregates, safety supplies, environmental monitoring is usually a subcontract, as well as sheet piling and surveyors. Some of our more commonly used subcontracts would be hydroseeders, surveyors, trucking is a big one, especially hauling of equipment from our facilities to project sites as well. And then here, if any of you would like to fill out our supplier size business forms, of course we can send those to you. They're also available at our website at gldd.com. And go to our supplier section.
And Christina has them too.
Perfect. And yeah, just like Norma said when she was going through the SAM registration, be prepared to discuss your capabilities, your interests, and your capacity to perform it. It helps not only you match with us, but also, it lets us know what you're able to do and what you can provide. A few questions.
And just a note for those of you who are in the Norcal PTAC area, or if you have a PTAC near you, it's a good idea to check in with your PTAC. Our services are free, so before you contact a prime like GLDD, give us a call and you can, run through what you're going to say with us. We can coach you and tell you what to say and how to prepare.
Well, thank you everybody for coming, and if anybody, we'll open the floor up. If anybody else had any other questions, speak up.
I think we had a few in the chat that we can start with, Norma.
Okay.
Looks like Ivor Newman said, are there export options for the data within SAM?
Export options. I believe there might be. I'm not sure. Christina, do you know?
I'm not sure. I know I think you're asking because you're looking for vendors, probably. Ivor works for High Speed Rail in California. And we can look at that together, Ivor. I think you can. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think I think they have something. And somebody had a question here about, I don't know what that, okay, I guess I'll just skip it. I'm not sure what it pertains to.
Joseph Gary said, should I register for SAM or PTAC first, or does it matter?
So the PTAC can help you register in SAM. So it's up to you. We're just a resource, a free resource here for you. And we can hold your hand while you register in SAM, but you can also try to do it on your own. That's fine too.
And NAICS codes, Joseph Garay has asked, what are NAICS codes? That's the North American Industrial Code System. That is basically what type of industry you're in, anywhere from food items, or I think it starts out with wheat farmers. It has a classification for everything, anywhere from machining to welding to heavy construction. If you type in the internet NAICS, you can type that in and you can find that. But also Christina would be a link for you, or you could even talk with me. I'll gladly help you. But that's your industry. It's what your company does, has a specific number that the government assigns to it. And when you sign up in SAM, you need that number. But also the SBA.gov site that I gave you will give you a ton of information on what the NAICS codes are. And determining your business size, you need to know what your NAICS code is. What your NAICS code is. I hope that helps.
I just want to add one more thing, that federal agencies will specifically be looking for your code. It's really important that you select the right code. And I've had prime contractors and government agencies come to me and say, do you have anyone with this specific code in your database? Because this is exactly what we're looking for. And if you're using the wrong code, then they won't be able to find you. So we can help you with that.
And then there's a question from Kevin Kong. Is past performance mandatory? How do we stand out as a vendor if we don't have government contracting experience? No, I don't believe it's mandatory, because if you're a new business and you're just in the midst of developing your company, it's not a mandatory thing.
Hey, Norma, can I chime in on that?
Yes.
This is Brian Hutchinson. I'm the small business manager here at Great Lakes. With that question, it all depends on what you're going for. If you have a commercial item, you can actually try to get on the GSA's schedule, and that's for commercial items that are similar throughout the line of a specific product. Now, if you are a government, you're going after government contracts for like construction. Yes, you will have to pre-qualify. Most government construction contracts require some type of history or pre-qualification, and they do, like on our jobs, they do ask a lot about your personnel, from corporate executives all the way down to your superintendent on site. So that's what I would that's the advice I would give on that question.
And this is Christine from AIM. Can I chime in also?
Yes.
Normally for contracts for us, if you haven't had experience before, we do count that as neutral so that it's not held against you.
That's good to know. We also have another question. Are there any other websites for subcontracting besides Subnet and GSA subcontracting? We listed in our conversation. You'll get the presentation, but make sure you check out the SBA.gov, which Subnet is part of that, and also you said besides GSA. I believe we also went into FedBiz Ops, and then also Christina, and not to mention other PTACs, they also have a bid matching type thing, but I believe that's via email, Christina?
It is, but I wanted to add also that for those of you in California or who want to do business with the state of California, there is within Cal eProcure a system where you can actually basically post ads and say, here's what I do X, and Times will be looking out for people who do what you do. So we can help with that too.
Great.
One of the other, this is Brian again, one of the other things I do here is the licensing and pre-quals at Great Lakes. In California, and especially in California, make sure you're registered to do business with the Secretary of State, or I think you guys call it the Corporations Board, and make sure you get, if you are required to be licensed, to get licensed, because if you operate without a license and a license is required, any revenues that you make can be taken away at a later date by through the law. So just to give you a heads up on that one.
Oh, and here's another question from Joseph Garay. I saw that the dredging company accepts government credit cards. Is this different than normal types of payments? Not sure. Are you talking, I'm not exactly sure about your question. I don't know if Brian understands that one.
If he's asking about how we take payment, or we pay, sorry.
Yeah, how we pay.
Vendors. Yeah, we pay vendors either through ACH, through wire. We do pay via credit card to some vendors. That's all worked out by our AP and our purchasing when we get you in on the small business database and get you in as a vendor. That's where that gets worked out. So I can't say that you would be paid by credit card or you would be paid by ACH. It all depends on the type of product, service you're giving us, the credit, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. Our preferred method of payment is ACH or a check.
Yep.
Credit cards are circumstance to circumstance.
Right. And yeah, definitely.
Well, is there anybody else with questions? It looks like.
There was one on there about SAM, about are you able to download or do stuff off in SAM?
Oh, I don't know if I saw that.
Yeah, that was in the beginning. I think it might have dropped off the list. When you register in SAM mainly is your registration with to do business with the government. And one of the main things on there is it's a lot of you get financial information, your legal information you got to put in, your tax information, but one of the major parts of it, and your contact information, but one of the major parts of it is your reps and certs for government jobs. And there's a lot of reps and certs that you'll fill out, all the way from your small business status to doing business with Iran. It's a one size or one registration fits all type of deal. In the beginning, you answer questions that kind of play out to how the reps and certs are answered. But once you get done and you certify those answers, you can print out your registration, and other people can also see it. What do you call it? Summarized registration when they search for you. So you can also use that to see other contractors out there and possibly get their names to try to get business with those contractors, such as Great Lakes. So hopefully that answers that question.
Well, if that's pretty much it, unless anybody has any more questions, we've got like another 4 minutes. If anybody has a question, you can either throw it out there on the chat or you can speak up.
Yeah, this is Richard. Judd, can you hear me?
Yes, we can, Mr. Judd. Hi.
How are you doing today? Hey,
Pretty
thank
good.
you very much for going through it. It was very informative. My question is, I'm a service-disabled veteran, and I have CVE, so I have set-aside potential also. I saw that you were looking, and I really didn't get into looking deep into it, looking for set-aside with the projects. And my question is there a database for you to have access to that, or can I sign up for it with the Great Lakes?
Well, what we need you to do is fill out the small business form, which Christina has a copy of that, as well as our website. If you go to gldd.com, there is a supplier diversity link under contacts, and then you'll see it'll direct you to a form to fill out, and then that'll be the beginning process to get, and you'll send that to me, and then that'll be the beginning where we'll get you on our potential listing of small businesses, which is also shared with our sister company, Jordan's company, the Great Lakes E&I, and that'll be the beginning where you'd fill out your capabilities, and then we'll get you on that list and we'll route your information.
Well, thank you. You know, my question is, I'm also in California. I'm certified as a small business, you know, a little micro business, and also a disabled veteran business. So I'm California certified, and I do have federal certification of recent too. So that was my question. So.
And thank you for your service to our country as well as a veteran. I meant to say that.
Well, you're welcome. I just was looking at, and that site, I thought I wrote it down. I probably, I do have it. So, yeah, the GLLD.com.
GLDD.com, correct. Then we'll look for your information to come to us so we can get you on our list.
And also go to Glease.com, www.glease.com, because
hold on,
they might have some. They're more situated on the West Coast.
Oh yes.
I'm sorry, www. I apologize.
Oh, here we can.
www.glease.com.
Okay.
If you go to gldd.com, you can get.
Oh, Jordan has it on the. Jordan has the site on the chat. He's put the site on there. If you look on the chat, you can see the link is right there.
Okay.
One of the other things I would say about that was
I've got it. Thank you. I just checked it on the chat. So
one of the other things I would like to comment on that is once you get it on our small business listing, if there are items that you think you could mentor protege, at that point we would put you in contact with the sponsor because we deal with getting the small businesses on our side from a vendor service status. For mentor protege and that has to go through our sponsors and our legal department. So.
Well, I know people within the GSA out in District 8 out here, so I know a lot of people that have been around for some years, you know, so anyway, I thank you, and I will send that over, and we'll see where we go. Thank you very much.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Well, I think our time is almost up, unless there's one more question. Thanks everyone for coming to the webinar.
Thank you.
If Jordan and Christina and Brian want to stay on for a few minutes.
Sure. Yeah. And for those of you, if you're still hear me, you'll receive an email with an evaluation request and a link to where the webinar will be posted tomorrow. So you'll get that email in the next couple minutes.
Thank you. This is Christine.
Oh, thank you, Christine.
So Jordan, for the recording, I'm sure it's very large.